Introducing traditional rustic brown. In this video, we'll show off one of our newest patinas for the traditional patina line. Rustic brown is designed to work on iron and steel, but it will also develop a finish on zinc as well as bronze, brass, and copper. Starting out, we're going to hit the steel with 180 grit sandpaper. You always want to do some sort of cleaning, and we're going to follow that with our Sculpt Nouveau metal cleaner and a Scotch-Brite pad. Once we get it all cleaned up, rinsed, and dried, because of the metal cleaner we're choosing to use, then we'll start with our patina process. This is a piece of cold rolled steel. It will also work on a hot rolled piece, but you will need to remove the mill scale. As you can see, like many of our traditional brown patinas, the reaction is quick. The longer you let it go, the darker it will go. So your normal window for best reaction is 3 to 5 minutes. You can go shorter, but do mind that sometimes the reaction doesn't come through completely, or it will be a little bit different than expected. So always do a test sample to see how long you want it to go. But if we want, we can do a second coat. So just like normal, you rinse and dry it, and then you can apply another coat, and that's what we're doing here. You can do 2 or 3 coats. You can do as many as you want until you get the achieved look. As you can see from that first coat, we kind of got a goldenish brown, and as we do more coats, we will get darker and darker, and that's where the rustic brown really gets its true name. It kind of just comes as an aged brown. Once you're dried, after neutralizing, you'll want to seal it in. Just like any other piece of steel, you got to seal it in, otherwise it will want to rust. So we're going to use our ClearGuard satin, which is just a nice finish on this. And here's our final piece. So this is 2 coats of rustic brown on steel. It looks different based on the lighting from the studio and the workshop, but that's what we ended up with. Next, we'll use copper. This has once again been sanded with 180 and cleaned up with our Sculpt Nouveau metal cleaner, and then we can go in with our patina. Now, just like the M38, which is a great patina to get a brown finish on copper, bronze, and brass, on bronze, brass, and copper, the rustic brown will also take time. So you can see that we spray it on there and we just let it sit. And if you want to do the Scotch-Brite technique that you've seen in other finishes to try and get your patina a little bit more smooth on that first coat, the same goes with how you treat it with M38. You want to let it react for a little bit, and then you can come in. See where it's going to react, and that's really where the fun comes in with copper, is it will want to react a little bit different. So if you want a really mottled finish, usually that's pretty easily to achieve. If you want it more even and smooth, then you can really get it smooth. Just let it react for a minute, and you can see there's certain areas that are coming in a little bit better than others, and then you can kind of address them as needed. So we let it sit for about a minute and a half, and then we started going in with the Scotch-Brite pad, and we'll do that here in a second. And you can really see it really benefits, because if you jump the gun and you start Scotch-Briting too soon, you'll just take it all off and you won't get any reaction on the first one. So if you let it develop a little bit, and you can rinse it now if you like how this looks and get kind of a nice little light warm brown finish. But if you just give it time and then you can go in with a Scotch-Brite pad, then you can get in there and get a nice finish. And again, you can do 2 coats so the Scotch-Brite marks don't come through. It's usually the biggest comment that we get, is that if we take a Scotch-Brite pad or some sort of abrasive, that we're going to leave scratch marks. But you can see I'm going very light, just enough to keep it on my fingertips. And you don't want to scuff it or sand it really. You just want to drag it around the surface, and it'll take care of the rest. I'm hardly even putting any pressure on it. So go nice and soft, and plan on doing 2 coats if you do want a smooth finish. And depending on how dark you want it, again, you may need to do more coats. And after 2 coats, here's our piece of copper done with ClearGuard satin on it. You can see that rich brown kind of comes out real nice. So then we're going to go into zinc, and this will work the same as if it was galvanized. In the patina world, they're the same. It's a zinc plated or it's zinc metal, and so it will create kind of a gray to black finish on zinc or galvanized. Now I did a little something different on this piece. I went in with the Scotch-Brite pad, but I went a little bit harder so you could see we're breaking through down into that zinc a little bit more. And then I actually didn't do a second coat. I just kind of put a little touch up on there, an extra coat while this is still wet. And it's not very normal, but I wanted it to kind of try and come in a little bit more even, but I really wanted a little patch to it as well. So I kind of pulled it all the way back and then just squirted a little bit more on, get a little fresh patina on there, and you can see in our final piece, it ended up being a little bit patchy, so it's a little different, but I kind of like how it looks. So here's our final zinc piece, and you can see how it has some areas that are real dark and some that are a little lighter gray, and I like how it turned out. Rustic Brown is now available at www.sculptnouveau.com or by calling us at 760-432-8242.